a Zuku decoder from the Luntha TV offices in Area 2, Lilongwe, and from all the St. Manford bookshops across the country in Kasungu, Lilongwe, Salima, Dedza, Balaka, Zomba, Mulanje, Blantyre, Chikwawa, Mwanza, and Mangochi. For more information, contact 0883 815 055 or 0996 892 965. Get a Zuku decoder today and not miss daily mass, worship and prayers, news bulletins, and so much more on Luntha TV, bringing wisdom into your home.
This is Bridget Manoga bringing you our news bulletin live from Bishop Navy Media Center. Welcome. But before we start, let's look at our top stories. Pope Francis announces ecumenical prayer service which reflects on St. John the Baptist's spirit of service. President Jaguela calls for selfless service in saving Malawi. Central Region Water Board targets to supply clean water to over 700,000 people as Parliament pledges to lobby for support. And news from elsewhere, Nepal mourns after deadly plane crash, search for missing resumes. We have these and many more. Stay with us. In his Angelus address on Sunday, Pope Francis encouraged Christians to cultivate the virtue of knowing how to step aside in order to bear witness to Jesus as St. John the Baptist did. He then said St. John the Baptist teaches freedom from attachments and graciousness, taking care of others without benefit of oneself. The Holy Father also announced that ecumenical prayer vigil will take place in St. Peter's Square as part of the Church ongoing synod of synodality. Tandiwe Mzumara with a Catholic News Agency report.
Speaking from the window of the Apostolic Palace on January 15th, the Pope shared lessons from St. John the Baptist's spirit of service. He said that St. John was not interested in having a following for himself, in gaining prestige and success, but he bears witness and then steps back so that many may have the joy of meeting Jesus. He reflected on St. John's words after baptizing Jesus in the Jordan River. From John chapter 1, verse 29 to 30, "A man is coming after me who ranks ahead of me because he existed before me." According to the Holy Father, the declaration and testimony reveals John's spirit of service, that one would think that he would be given a prize, a prominent place in Jesus' public life. But no, John, having accomplished his mission, knows how to step aside. He withdraws from the scene to make way for Jesus. Pope then reflected on how it is easier to become attached to roles and positions to the need to be esteemed, recognized, and rewarded, saying it is good for us too to cultivate, like John, the virtue of setting ourselves aside at the right moment, bearing witness that the point of reference of life is Jesus Christ. At the end of his general audience, Pope Francis announced that an ecumenical prayer vigil will take place in St. Peter's Square on September 30th, 2023, as part of the Church's ongoing synod on synodality. The ecumenical prayer vigil, organized by the Taizé community, will entrust to God the work of the 16th Ordinary General Assembly of the Synod of Bishops, set to take place in 2 sessions from October 4th to 29th, 2023, and in October 2024.
The state president, Dr. Lazarus Chakwera, has called on Malawians to emulate the spirit of selflessness that Malawi's hero, Reverend John Chilembwe, who gave up many luxuries for the sake of others, proved in fighting for the country's freedom. He was speaking at the Providence Industrial Mission, PIM in Chiladzulu, as he led Malawians in celebrating the life of Reverend John Chilembwe. The day commemorated under the theme, Heal Us Lord, Dr. Chakwera said there is need for Malawians to love one another to receive true healing from God. Alinafe Piri reports.
Chakwera said there is a lot to learn from Chilembwe, who gave up many luxuries and personal interests for the sake of his countrymen. Hence, every year, homage is paid to Reverend Chilembwe at his Providence Industrial Mission in Chiradzulu district, describing Chilembwe as a selfless and patriotic man, a hero whose vision was for the benefit of all Malawians, and not only his clan, tribe or religion. President Chakwera said if people continue to backbite, speak ill of others and pull each other down, Malawi will not develop. In his address during the commemoration, Chakwera said John Chilembwe's courage in emancipating natives from inhumane treatment by colonial formations remains an indelible symbol of national sacrifice to this day. Therefore, we should continue drawing valuable lessons of patriotism from 108 years ago and let the same orient our current quest of shaping a new Malawi.
Chilembwe adachita zimenezi mosiyana ndi ambiri a ife. Koma adachita chifukwa chakuti adakonda dziko lino. Osati gawo lina la dziko lino, koma dziko lonse. Chifukwa ndimati tiye tilingalirepo pa nkhani yochiritsidwayi kuti chauta chiritsani dziko lathu.
In his address, President of the PIM, Reverend Wilson Mitambo, commended President Chakwera for fulfilling his promises of constructing tombstones for the mother of the late John Chilembwe, Lepesiayo Nyangu, and his sister Malekebo during last year's celebrations. The President was in the company of First Lady Madame Monica Chakwera, Vice President Dr. Saulus Klaus Chilima, former President Dr. Joyce Banda, Leader of Opposition Dr. Kondwani Nankoma, and other high-profile dignitaries. Annually, 15 January is historical to Malawi as it is a day set aside to commemorate one of the sons of the soil who died in the struggle for freedom and the fight against white supremacy and colonialism in 1915. Reporting for Luntha News, this is Alina Feperi.
The Central Region Water Board has disclosed its plans of supplying over 700,000 people with safe and potable water by 2026 to increase levels of sanitation. The board's Chief Executive Officer, Engineer Johnny Makwenda, has told members of Parliament through the Natural Resources and Climate Change Committee on Sunday that the earmarked projects will need over $500 billion to be completed, with hope that more people will have access to clean water. Chairperson of the committee, Welani Chilenga, has assured the board of its full commitment to lobby for more funding once relevant bills and proposals are tabled in Parliament. Here is Bernard Mwanza with more.
As a priority, the Central Region Water Board has earmarked two flagship projects, namely Kolongo Multipurpose Dam Project, which will help in supplying water to the residents around Mponela, and Dowa Project, which is targeting people around Dowa Boma and Dzaleka refugee camp. Engineer John Makwenda, who is the Chief Executive Officer for the board, said there is a high demand for potable water in the region, hence a need to implement more projects, and that it is a wish of the board to have more resources to support more people.
The projects that we are advancing in our strategic plan, we have that figure of we have a figure of 583 million that we need to invest as a priority in the next 5 years according to our strategic plan. But if there's space and we have resources, we can take up more projects.
Principal Secretary in the Ministry of Water and Sanitation, Elias Chimlambe, assured the committee that government is ready to finance the project's implementation and that some funds have already been released for preparatory works on the Kolongo multipurpose dam and Dowa projects. However, chairperson for the committee, Weran Chilenga, expressed skepticism on the flow of funding, saying it is not giving hope that government can fully fund the projects to their completion. He has since pledged that they will use all relevant channels to lobby for more funding.
They should bring those requests to Parliament through the Ministry of Finance, either through the normal budget, like the one that we are going to start on 17th of February, the ones that they feel that can pass through the normal budget, they should bring them. And also the ones that they feel that maybe government through Parliament can borrow from international organizations or international banks. We are more than willing to support them.
Some of the projects that the board intends to implement include Nkamenya water supply and sanitation in Kasungu, Dwangwa multipurpose dam for Kasungu town, Salima town water supply and sanitation project, Namitete Nsundwe water supply and sanitation project, and multipurpose dam for Dedza, Lintipe, Chimbia, Kampata, Natenje, Mitundu, Lobi, and Bunda. For Luntha News, I am Bernard Manza.
In relevant news, Ministry of Water and Sanitation has revealed that the Salima Lilongo Water and Sanitation project will commence this year. The ministry's principal secretary, Elias Chimulambe, has told us that government has been holding talks with all relevant stakeholders on the issue of financing the project and that everything is under control. The project is for the extraction of water from Lake Malawi to Lilongwe, its surrounding areas, and other areas along Lilongwe-Salima Road. Bernard Manza caught up with Chimulambe.
We had some challenges with the financing arrangement. Now we are coming to the conclusion, which means we are ready to roll out this Salima Lilongwe water project. And I would like to confirm that through the Minister of Finance and our Minister, we are ready to start the Salima Lilongwe water project. Normally we go out to source some finances, whether through a loan or a grant. If it's a loan, it means the Malawi government is the one that is funding. Not necessarily important that who is giving the loan. What is important is the Malawi government is financing these two projects, the Kolongo multipurpose dam and the Salima Lilongwe water supply project.
You're still watching our 7:30 news bulletin, but before we proceed, let's take another look at our top stories. Pope Francis announces ecumenical prayer service which reflects on St. John the Baptist's spirit of service. President Jaguera calls for selfless service in saving Malawi. Central Region Water Board targets to supply clean water to over 700,000 people as Parliament pledges to lobby for support. And news from elsewhere, Nepal mourns after deadly plane crash, search for missing resumes. Moving on, National Food Reserve Agency (NFRA) Chief Executive Officer Brenda Kayongo has been suspended over the missing of 13 trucks carrying strategic grain reserves (SGR) maize of worth about 123 million kwacha. According to a memo dated January 12, 2023, made available to Luntha Television, NFRA Human Resource and Administration Director Humphrey Kalelenguchi says the suspension is with immediate effect pending further investigations and disciplinary process. Helbert Karanda explains more.
In November, the local media reported that trucks assigned to deliver 410 metric tons of maize, worthy 129 million kwacha from Admark depots to NFRA in Lilongwe, did not reach their destination. NFRA board chairperson Dennis Kalekeni disclosed that maize went missing through a transporter, Smollett Kajere, of Kajere Agriculture Trading, who was one of the 3 firms hired by NFRA to transfer the maize. He added that the other companies are Omar and Mzeru Zabambo. However, the memo says the suspension was in connection with the missing maize at the Food Reserve Agency. Initially, Kalekeni told local media that Omar did not participate in the ferrying of the maize, despite being given the deal because it was looking for an adjustment in transportation rates in the wake of the 25% devaluation of kwacha and a significant jump in the cost of fuel. He had observed that Nzeru Zabambo only uplifted a fraction of the maize because it felt it could not proceed as it was making losses in the deal. Last year, when Kajere appeared before the Parliamentary Committee on Agriculture, disputed the claims there are big fishers in the public service who are involved in the botched maize deal. Currently, maize prices are soaring up to 25,000 Malawi kwacha per 50 kilograms from recommended 15,000 kwacha.
Youth Network Organization in Balaka District says harsh effects of climate change solutions lie in the hands of the youth since they are the majority and energetic. Thomas Sendeza, who is a Child Focus Organization Director and Balaka Youth Organization Chairperson, said this over the weekend when Chisangalaro Free Nursery School organized a tree planting exercise at Kwisa in the district. Sendeza then asked the youth to plant and care for more trees to deal with the harsh reality of climate change. Andrew Nandolo compiled a report read by Rashida Matandika.
Charcoal burning, cutting trees aimlessly in settlements have triggered the harsh effects of climate change. Sendeza challenged the youth to plant more trees for the next generation to enjoy favorable climate and harvest more food. He said the youth are in majority, and if they plant trees few years to come, the whole world will regain its lost glory.
I'm also encouraging the youth in Baraka to continue or to emulate what the GISA has done, to plant trees wherever they are, so that we should together we should fight against the climate change. We should respond to the climate change. So I'm very happy. Together we have managed to plant 200 trees, and this is a very good idea, because in Baraka here the climate has changed so much. The climate is very hot, the temperatures are very hot, so with the planting of trees here in another school will help our learners, the youth, the kids to be learning, to be having shelters during hot season.
In his remarks, Chisangalato Free Nursery School Youth Officer McDonald Kaleso said they thought of planting trees because they have a feeding program that needs firewood and that they are planning to plant more trees. He then thanked Teacher Investments for supporting them with seedlings and asked other well-wishers to follow suit.
As you know, we're running an ICT project here in Balaka, whereby we provide a school feeding program to our learners, our kids in the nursery school. So you can see that we are a part of the people who are also are using trees, because we cannot cook porridge without using trees. So considering that fact, we partnered with the Balaka-based businessman, Gift Yasega, who provided us with 200 seedlings of trees, which we are planting here. So we just wanted to thank Mr. Jasega for this partnership, because we know for sure that together, collaboratively, we can help in the saving of our environment in Baraka.
Chisangalato Free Nursery Schools has feeding programs in their schools in Baraka and Chiradzulu districts that need trees for firewood to prepare porridge. This year's theme is Restore Degraded Forest Landscapes for Livelihood Security. President Dr. Lazarus Chakwera launched tree planting season for 2022-2023 on 23rd December 2022 at Palm Forest Reserve in Mangochi.
And in sports, the battle for Super League of Malawi Solom presidency has started ahead of the pause slated for next month. As the current president, Tia Somba Banda, is still quiet on whether he will seek re-election, some names have emerged as his rivals for the position include Nyasa Big Bullets Vice President Fleetwood Haya. More in this report by our sports reporter, King Major Kamwendo.
Super League of Malawi Solom is expected to elect new office bearers at its elective annual general meeting, AGM, which will take place on February 25th at a venue to be identified. But the battle for the league's governing body's presidency is likely to be an intense one this year, as aspirants are keeping their cards close to their chest, while Solom is yet to open nomination process ahead of the polls, but some have already positioned themselves. Incumbent President Tia Somba Banda is still keeping a tight read on whether he will seek a second term in office. But rumors arrive that Nyasa Big Breast Vice President Fleetwood Haya is eyeing the Solom presidency. Haya said there is pressure from some sections asking him to contest for the Solom presidency and that he is still consulting and he will make a decision in 10 days' time. The mandate for current Solom executive, which was unshared into office in 2019 in Salima district, is set to expire in February. Solom treasurer Malinda Chinyama, despite reports suggesting that he was seeking re-election, said he will make his decision after preparing a financial report. Solom Vice President Gilbert Mitawa also confirmed that he is seeking second term. However, General Secretary William Banda is yet to come out in the open. During the 2019 campaign period, the current leadership in its manifesto, titled Leading Football Business, promised to introduce e-ticketing, refurbish MDC ground, improve gate revenue share, and sourcing package for CAF Champions League representatives, among others. Solom, however, managed to negotiate for improved Super League sponsorship to 100 million kwacha from 90 million. Just recently, Solom secured 100 million kwacha from farm, which will go towards club as grants. For Luntha News in Lilongwe, this is King Major Kamwendo.
And elsewhere, rescuers in Nepal have resumed searching for 4 people still missing after the Himalayan nation's deadliest plane crash in 30 years, as the Himalayan National observes a day of mourning. Rescuers recovered 68 bodies out of the 72 people on board the ATR-72 aircraft operated by Yeti Airlines that crashed in the tourist city of Pokhara minutes before landing on Sunday in clear weather. The plane, on a scheduled 27-minute flight from Kathmandu to Pokhara, gateway to the Sindh Annapurna mountain range, was carrying 57 Nepalese, 5 Indians, 4 Russians, 2 South Koreans, and 1 person each from Argentina, Ireland, Australia, and France. Well, with that, we conclude our news bulletin today. But before we go, let's take another look at our top stories.
Pope Francis announces ecumenical prayer service, which reflects on St. John the Baptist's spirit of service. President Jaguela calls for selfless service in saving Malawi. Central Region Water Board targets to supply clean water to over 700,000 people as Parliament pledges to lobby for support. And news from elsewhere, Nepal mourns after deadly plane crash, search for missing resumes.
That's all I had for you. Thank you for choosing Luntha Television. This has been Bridget Manuka. Stay blessed.